So welcome to how to strategically use social media to direct pent-up travel demand so you can increase revenue. I'm your host, Jackie Roby. Now, we're all here for a reason, right? I would say number one is we probably love to travel. We all have that in common. Maybe you work as a travel advisor, perhaps a designer or retreat leader. You could be selling for a property, own or manage that hotel. Or maybe you just love traveling altogether and you just want to see what's happening and learn about social media. But overall, we want to increase revenue with the right traveler. And the right traveler is really key. And as somebody who spent so much time in hotels, what I'll tell you the right traveler isn't, and I think we all know this, is somebody who's just looking for a deal and a coupon. We want the right one. So I'm going to have you answer another question for me, guys. In a year where travel was limited, how many new prospects did you gain? So type that in the chat. And by prospects, I mean leads. Oh, Casey. All right. A lot. I love that. Eric. Yes, a lot. Not much new. I hear you, JC. All right. So for the people who got leads, Casey and Eric, I'm going to call you out. Were any of those leads from social media? Okay. Some yes for Casey, but some referrals. 50% digital marketing. Awesome. Hey, Jules on social. I love that. That's no surprise for me with you, Jules. So what you're going to learn today is the 4-step process that I use with my clients to help increase their revenue through social media. You're also going to learn what makes a good salesperson. And even if you don't consider yourself a salesperson, I'll show you how you can be. And your best practices for saving time and building a qualified prospect list. If you don't know me, I'm Jackie Roby. I come to you today as the Chief Excellence Officer of my company, Inspired Journey Consulting. I bring 20 years of sales experience in travel and hospitality, both as a buyer and a supplier. And I am humbly confident to tell you that I've won multiple awards in this arena for my sales. Now, when I started Inspired Journey in October 2019, I opened an Instagram account. Done. I begrudgingly started a Facebook account. I had never personally been on Facebook since its beginning. Back in the day, I was a MySpace person, but I digress. But a colleague said, you need to do this. So I said, fine, I'm going to do it. But what I thought was, I am a proactive salesperson. I've worked in this industry. I know and have relationships. All is good. So that was October 2019. Few months later, what happened to the world? I think you all know. It starts with a C and it ends with an, I don't want to talk about it anymore. I had to make some changes. And that's okay, because when I started this company, it was because I saw what was missing. And I wanted to do something different than what the travel industry had been doing prior. And I knew that in wellness and healing travel, you needed to be different. So I took the opportunity to learn and really maximize social media. So now I'm actively engaged on 5 platforms, learning a 6th, as well as 3 different Mighty Network private groups. I host my own podcast, and I am a contributing writer for Wellbeing Travel by Travel Market Report. And my business has shifted to have me doing this. I'm a sales strategist and social media amplifier for wellness, healing, and transformational travel. Now, I promise you, I'm not going to tell you to get on all of those platforms. But what I am going to tell you is my big surprise was that 95% of my business and revenue now comes from social media leads. So I lead with my heart. I'm an empath. That's just who I am. And I started this company because it took 17 years into the travel industry to learn about wellness and healing travel and know that it was more than just spa. And as someone who'd been through a depression years prior, I could have really used the tools that travel could provide had I known. So I thought, I need to use my superpowers for good. I want to help the visionaries. I want to help them with sales and meet them in a place where they are, because not everybody can afford that massive sales team. So another thing that happened is I noticed what was missing. And one of the things that was missing was making the connection between the travel industry, both buyers, suppliers, and the guests themselves. So I started the Travel Can Heal campaign. This is a social media initiative, and it connects all of you in the industry who offer these incredible modalities that are there to help and support. It's a gift back to that industry, the travel industry that I love, who needs this right now. And also to another community, the travelers that need healing. that are either on their journey or want to start their journey. And that's also a community I live in. So it's bridging that and bringing it all together. This webinar is being recorded. I am going to send the slides after. And what you'll see is a hyperlink to tell you more about the challenge and how you can participate. I want you to stay till the end because we're going to go through some Instagram tricks, the ever-changing algorithm and what have you. You'll learn some key things and good takeaways. And then also a special offer to amplify your business. We'll speak more on amplifying as well. When you hear the word sales, how does it make you feel? Scared? Yep. Stressed? Hey, Kevin. Uncomfortable? Necessary? Oh, Eric, yes. A little stressed, but familiar. Yep. That's right, Paul. Amazing. So here's some myths around sales, right? And I think this speaks to those of you who said you were scared and stressed and uncomfortable around it, is that salespeople are pushy. Selling makes people feel uncomfortable. This always makes me think of like the people calling you at the end of the day, stop calling my home, or walking up to you immediately in the store when you just want to browse. And all of that feeling, and you're just, oh, please get away from me. You think clients are going to be offended if I sell to them. I'm bothering people by selling. Are any of these familiar? Nobody wants to hear from me. So at the beginning of the pandemic, I was on a call and the leader of the call said, everybody stop selling. Nobody wants to be sold to. Stop selling. And for me, a career salesperson, I had many emotions. I was offended. I was hurt. I was angry. I was feeling devalued. I was questioning myself. And so as I do, I journaled to try to get this out and come back to center. And what it really brought to me was this understanding that the person that said that thinks about sales like this, about the travel zoo offer, about the book now, about somebody knocking at your door, where I think about sales like this. The truth about sales is you're building relationships. So you never stop selling, you just change your message. And people want to learn what you have to offer. This was a really interesting thing for me. Starting your own business, what people don't tell you is that you feel naked. Okay. I spent my career selling for other people. And when you love that and you love your product, you love what you do, it's easy. But selling yourself is difficult. But people want to know. You have to tell them. Think about the cable person that comes knocking at your door. Usually you have an agreement with them. Maybe you let them in, maybe you don't. I'm not somebody who does, but my husband David does. So David lets them in the door. And if they're sitting at the table and all they do is talk about their family and dogs, what's the point of them coming in? You want to know what they have to say. So that offer is incredibly important. People want to know, you have to tell them. But strategy is where it's at. You have to put something together to accomplish your goals and get the right messaging out there. And overall, good salespeople, they don't need to be pushy. I will tell you that one of the things that I've learned in the industry on both sides, but specifically working at Travel Leaders Group prior, which is now Internova, I spoke with thousands of salespeople, thousands. And I was really surprised by the fact that there were very few exceptional, some bad ones, and then a lot of mediocrity in between. And when you build what you can do it in a way that is dedicated for business, or you can do it in a way that's dedicated for business and authentic. Now, like I said, I always lead with my heart. I am somebody who's brought authenticity to my relationships. And so I lead with care, which makes sense why I'm going to teach you how to sell with care. We're going to go further into these, but care stands for communicating your goals, auditing the sales and marketing process, reflecting and creating a new strategy, and establishing next steps. This can work for all of your sales efforts, but also for social media. So we'll stick to that social area of it. But first, we also need to change your mindset when it comes to social. So some of these we hear really often. The myths, it's just for marketing. It's a nice to have, not a have to have. Or people just use it to show pictures of their babies and pets. I don't understand how this works. I get a lot of that. If any of this feels familiar to you, I understand. But the truth about social is that it's social like sales, right? It's about relationships. You can build new relationships over social media. And those can be buyers. Those can be referrals for buyers. 71% of consumers would buy something based on referrals on social media. That's huge. I want you to start thinking about social in a new way. Think about it like a networking event that you're hosting, a cocktail party, the flow, where people come in and out. So you're going to be introducing yourself. You've got a few things that you're talking about. You're building relationships. You've got people you know, people that are new, etc. But it is an opportunity to grow. So tell me what social media channels you use. Facebook and Instagram. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. Kate, you're everywhere. I love it. IG, Twitter. All right, I've got a 50% Instagram. If you haven't done the poll, make sure to do that. So Suzanne, we won't do a ton of talk on LinkedIn today, but it does overall come into the conversation. So we can, if you have specific questions about it, we can talk about that too. All right, good combination too. You guys are pretty savvy. I like that. So now's the time to take out your worksheet if you haven't already. We're going to start with the C, communicating your goals. I like to look at the next 3 months. 1, this ever-changing landscape that we're experiencing, but 2, it's manageable. You can put something together and figure out what you're looking towards. Now, your goals are incredibly important because otherwise you are flailing around. Okay, failing to plan is planning to fail. So you need to have your goals in order. And the basic principle of setting your goals are having SMART goals. Okay, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timely. Now, don't worry, we're going to talk about this more. But these goal setting do's and don'ts. Now, what I want to tell you on what not to do is how not to keep these in actuality your full goal, but that might be a starting point and it's okay. Earn more money. We want that, right? Gain followers on Instagram. Sure, you just want to make sure you're gaining the right followers. Fill the hotel. This one kills me. So I've got at the bottom for you the measurements of SMART. You can see how these don't fit in there. They're not specific enough. You can't measure them. Earning more money can mean $1. You could fill the hotel with everyone paying $1. That is not what you're looking to do. You could buy followers on Instagram, which never, ever, ever do. The better version, instead of earn more money, solidify $25,000 in revenue by the end of March 2021. Your dates are important. Measurement to grow your Instagram followers. Increase your occupancy by a certain percent by the end of Q2 2021. Again, all these measurable goals to keep you on track. This is where you want to live. So start with those other things. That's kind of like a brain dump. You're getting it out there, but then really make it specific so that way you can action them, because a goal without an action is just a dream. So this is an example of actually a mesh of different clients that I work with, from travel advisors, properties, consultants, and organizations, going through what they're looking for in their goal setting. So this is where we start the process, and you can see it's big picture, but we need to at least get an idea of where we're going. And then I'm going to give you an example of one of my goals, which I think you can see has that SMART element around it. So share one of your goals in the chat, please. It doesn't have to be SMART. It's great if it is, but it can just be what you're out there thinking about right now. Fiercely typing. Increase new startup visibility. I like that. Find 5 new business partners. Amazing. Launch a TikTok account to engage with Gen Z. I love that. So moving on to the next section, to A, auditing your sales and marketing process. It's okay if you're just starting. If you don't have anything in the past that you want to look at, then it's really about looking and moving forward, or maybe what you thought your ideas would be as you were planning this, what you've done previously in other positions, perhaps, or in other businesses. So write a list of your efforts from the past month, 3 months, 6 months. Figure out what's brought you the most business and what's brought you the least. When you're looking at your social media, what posts have you made? And Suzanne and everyone, this can apply on every single channel. What posts have you made? What are you talking about? How often are you speaking? What are you saying? And are you asking people to do anything? So this is an example of the L Brand Group, an audit that I do with my clients. They're only going to be active on 2 social channels, which is fine, but it's really doing this deep down to figure out what the account looks like, how often they're posting, what their messaging is, the hashtags that they're using. That's incredibly important. We'll speak more on that. The insights that I'll tell you more about in a second. So what that breakdown is and to track that, and then where they are on LinkedIn and some opportunities. Like we talked about their about section being empty. So there's an opportunity on how to work with that. So we really dig down to have this starting place of what the accounts look like. Ooh, launch a private Facebook to engage with transformational travel audience. That's awesome, Isabel. Find new partnerships, increase startup. Love it. So for those of you who don't know, on Instagram, when you have a business account, this is how you find your insights. Okay, so you can see the top right-hand corner, those 3 lines. I've got arrows leading you there. It'll bring up your menu. Then the third down is insights. So you want to go there. And then it shows you what your insights are looking like. I've got 3 arrows on this last one because these are some areas that you can play with. So that first one, that last 7 days, it toggles so that you can look at the last 30 days instead and get a bigger picture. Then you can open the account's reach to have some more detail and also look at your audience. So see where they're coming from, what cities, countries. There's a gender breakdown. It does not count for gender nonconforming. However, this is what we have right now, as well as age. I really want to speak quickly about measuring success because sales and selling on social media, all of it is a mental game. Okay, this is about keeping your head in the right space of positivity. When I was working with the Retreat Costa Rica, I oversaw the reservations team. Now, there's 2 amazing women that I said, you know what, we are going to take them and promote them. They need to be trained in sales and moved up. So I was able to do that while I did work with them. But one thing that happened is I am training and helping these women become salespeople during a pandemic where nobody's traveling. Nobody's traveling to Costa Rica in the early days. So how can they keep going and feel excited and ready and feel good about themselves being salespeople? Because sales is more than just revenue. Success is more than that. Okay. It is celebrating all of your accomplishments. So maybe it's creating a lead list, it's networking. I know that showing up and smiling and being present, it is a job in itself and it's exhausting. My face hurts by the end of the day from smiling. Learning, exploring your fam trips, everything that you're doing makes you better. And these are things that you need to celebrate and count into what you're doing to be successful. Discovering a new lead source like social media. So you should all already pat yourselves on the back because you're already successful just being here today. What you're going to find also when I send this to you, there's a link to a blog that I wrote on celebrating success. This is something that I've done from day one in the sales industry. So tell me in the chat, how do you measure success? How do you celebrate it? Is it dance parties, engagement? Awesome. Champagne. I love it. Casey, you're amazing. Engagement and bookings. Yeah. But yes, revenue is success. We always celebrate that. Stay positive because if we're looking at what's not coming, then we're not looking at what is, and that doesn't put us in a place of abundance and flow. Opportunities. I love it. Keep telling each other. We're going to move on to the R, reflect and create a new strategy. Goals, got action or just a dream? We need a strategy. Include action steps to accomplish every week. When you do this, think about that A in the SMART, achievable, okay? This is something that I do a lot with my clients because I want to make sure we're meeting them where they are. If you don't have the operational force or the bandwidth to be highly active, then you can't do that. You have to do what makes sense for you. You have to show up, and maybe it's once a week that you're doing something in this space, but think about that. It has to be achievable. Focus on 3 key selling points. What is it that makes you stand out and stand apart? And you want to stick with 3, and they could change as you're actively putting this information out on social. Maybe that changes within a month or within a quarter, but keep that focus. You want people to remember you and you want to be known for something. And if you're selling a property, yes, you have different audiences that you're selling to, but maybe you're selling to them on different days. Different messages on different days, but 3 key selling points that you want to put out there. Focus on those. And then research competitors. And I really like to keep it small in the competitive space because you could go down a rabbit hole. What I will say though is when you're looking on social, I recommend following your competitors. Even if you don't think that they're your competitors. If people come and tell you, oh, this is you, which people do to me often, and I think it's not, but I can always look and learn from what somebody else is doing, and encouraging and building a network. It just doesn't hurt to give appreciation and support out in the world and to look at who their followers are, who's engaging with their content, and what hashtags they're using on Instagram or Twitter, but really just get an idea of what's bringing people to them and see how it fits and how you can grow. So, questions to consider for a new strategy. And these are just a few, and again, I'll send them your way, but what sets your business apart? Again, your key selling points. What are your personal values and do they align with your business? And it's an incredibly important lesson, and you find that in your own branding, you're going to bring your ideal client to you by aligning in this way. But what does your ideal client look like? Somebody who loves travel, we know that, but what kind of travel? Where do we want them to go? Are they traveling alone, couples, family, all of the above? Is there a niche you want to focus on? Get granular with it because that will help you in focusing your sales effort and in your postings. Looking at your own social, can clients, your business social media, can clients get a feel of who you are, what's behind it, and what you do? I'm going to call out actually Sire Travel. They do an amazing job. And Blue Pineapple, Casey, I know you're here too. You both do an amazing job of really showing everyone the personality behind the agency. So I love that. And how can you help your travelers heal? Because if you can, I know of a certain campaign you can participate in. So I work with the Transformational Travel Council and built their Instagram strategy for the remainder of 2020 and for 2021. So this is an example of what this can look like for your strategies. Mapping out how many times you're posting, what the content is going to be. So what those key selling points are, the hashtags that you're going to use. So you want to look at using 10 to 15 hashtags on Instagram, only like 3 on LinkedIn. Don't go overboard on Twitter. Go with what's relevant, but maybe look at what's trending as well and see if you can pop in something in there to make that work for your benefit. And Facebook, people add hashtags on Facebook, it's fine, but the SEO works really well that you don't necessarily have to. And then YouTube will be tags. So you'll consider tags for YouTube. But on Instagram, 10 to 15, I recommend saving them somewhere in your notes or your OneNote so that you can copy and paste it. You're not recreating the wheel every time. But the next thing that you want to do is engage, amplify, and use your stories. So the engagement and amplifying, this is where social really can get social. It's spending time within the hashtags, talking to people. And again, I'll speak more on those tricks later. Amplifying is bringing other people in the conversation. It is tagging the person that's relevant that you talked to, the property that you visited that you spoke about, the appointment that you had with an amazing travel advisor or travel manager, whatever that looks like, bringing them into that conversation on social helps. Sharing and resharing helps. And all of these things, they build relationships. So think about that. It's like introducing somebody, right? Giving referrals. And then also it boosts the algorithm. So that's something to think about. When you've got somebody that you share their content, it boosts the algorithm for them. And when they reshare you, it boosts for you. So it's this back and forth relationship. And the reason that you want to boost the algorithm is so that you are visible to the right people. Because unfortunately, it is not always fair. And we also want to utilize this tool in a way where we don't have to invest in ads. And while you can, let's find ways that you can do it for free first. This is Le Monastère des Augustines, a beautiful wellness center in Quebec City that I work with. They're part of Healing Hotels of the World. So one of the things that I did for them after we did their breakdown is they needed a content calendar. They wanted more ideas of how to put things together. So what we looked at as their 3 key selling points was an adventure within, the mindful cuisine, and their social mission. It's amazing. They give back to caregivers, and it's just such a beautiful thing. I put together ideas for them of what they would say every post, and then a special hashtag to add that fits them on top of what they're already doing in their 10 to 15 regularly. Now, at this point in time, they had somebody that was part-time, so they could only do 2 posts a month. So that's what we worked with. 2 posts a month. How do we make that work? And you can have your 3 key selling points in just 2 posts a month as well. Question time. What stresses you out about social media? It's too fast-paced, just about everything. I hear you. I know how you feel, Suzanne. I think sometimes it just keeps running and changing, and I can't keep up. The volume of work, yeah. The changing algorithms, Catherine, I get it. Everyone else is cooler. Yeah. Me too, JC. Me too. Staying abreast with technology. Okay, I feel that. I get it. Hopefully we can keep de-stressing that, because I think that's oftentimes what gets in our head. This very next step is establishing next steps. It's the last part of care. So reviewing your plan. So when I work with my clients, we review their plans monthly, if that's the arrangement we have. I also do one-on-one coaching, and that can be appointment based, but I recommend reviewing your plan at least twice a month. You can review it weekly if you'd like, to keep yourself in check of everything that you need to do, but track your progress. And you see that audit that we started with, that's why, part of the reason why you do that, so you can see what your progress looks like, and then monitor those insights. Using the care model, just imagine feeling that joy instead of apprehension, right? Getting people to start planning travel and feeling good about talking about travel, which people want to. We know that planning travel actually increases happiness. It's that planning process overall that brings joy, that dreaming. Jules asks, what do you think about people tagging random people in their post to get attention? I hate that. I would not do that ever. It's inauthentic, right? It's just inauthentic. It doesn't help. It really has to be relevant. Think about your reputation. I untag myself too, Jules. I think it's really smart. And you can see when people start to kind of spam on your comments too. I thought that if I hit an alert on those, that they would disappear, but they don't. You actually have to delete them. So think about that. But yeah, selling with care means you're going to have fun. You're going to see results with all of the work that you put into your strategy. Your next steps. Now, this is your homework. This is where your worksheet comes in. So first and foremost, it's shifting your mindset, leading with a place of positivity and knowing that people want to hear what you have to say, and that social media is social and fun. So your goal is to action one item from the worksheet in the next week. So tell me, yes or no, will you be able to implement one element of care this week? Yes. I want to see some yeses. Isabel, I know you're on it. Yes, Jules. Amazing. All right, so special amplify offer. So when we talked about amplifying, that is a big part of what I do, because I have built a trusted network of qualified travelers. Included in this prosperity package is actually 3 months of working together. So it includes a 30-minute strategy session, 2 video interviews that we'll do that will be posted on 5 social media platforms, engagement on your page for 3 months. So that looks like a variety of things, but it's me liking, commenting, sharing, helping you with your algorithm and sending it to my audience, including 90 stories on Instagram, 90 on Facebook, 3 LinkedIn posts, 3 Facebook posts, 3 Instagram posts, 2 YouTube videos, and special for everyone on the call is a 15-second podcast ad on Through Inspired Eyes. And that's only available here for all of you as a thank you for joining. So the deadline for this is March 3rd. I'm going to send the details, but I promised you some Instagram tricks. Back to social media being social. Choose your 10 hashtags to include on the posts. When you're looking at those, pick ones that have less than 99,000. You want to do that because while you want ones that have traction already that people are using and looking for, you don't want to be lost in the mix of things. You want to make sure that you're the most visible. And then you want to engage in those hashtags. So the way that you do that is you select the hashtag that you're interested in. You're going to have 2 tabs. One of them is going to say the top and the other is going to say recent. And it automatically toggles to top, but you want to click to recent. You want to do that because it's going to show you obviously what's most recently been posted, and it will make sure that those people are more likely to be engaged with you. So from there, you're going to look at those posts. You're going to find the ones you want. You're going to go to that account. You're going to like 3 posts from that person, but not just like, you need to comment. And when you comment, keep the emojis out of it. You can use 1 if you need to, but your comment needs to have at least 4 words. Is because otherwise it can read you as a bot. So think about an authentic answer though. And that's what you want anyway, because you're building a relationship. Again, imagine the networking event. You are not going to run by somebody in conversation and go, "Ooh, love that," and walk away. It doesn't make sense. You need to have something that is specific and gives them a reason to want to be engaged with you. And that is how you build an authentic following. That's how people connect with you, is you're finding those commonalities, you're targeting your audience properly. Any questions on that? Okay. Guys, I am so grateful to have you here. Thank you so much for your time today. And I am going to send out the recording, the slides, and really super happy to have all of you. So have an amazing, fabulous day and get your care together.